Welcome back, my friends. In this video, I'll walk you through 3 forms of liquidity. If you're having struggle understanding what liquidity is, I have a full explanation on my last video. The first type of liquidity is the equal highs and equal lows liquidity. Self-explanatory. We can see the lines. This is where the liquidity zone is, which is where price always goes towards. One interesting thing is that the price usually will go below or above the line, and then it will start the pullback. And this is the effect of stop losses. If you don't understand this, don't worry. Let me explain further with this chart. If you enter on a red circle, let's say it's a previous resistance, so you expect price to go lower. Where would you put your stop losses? It's somewhere above, right? So when you open short entry, your stop loss will be to buy back. So let's say the price goes down directly to the next support. Then it starts bouncing back. Where would it go to? It's likely that it will go to the previous resistance, and it will probably poke through because there's a huge pool of buy liquidity that's on top of it. So likely the market will just grab those liquidity, and then we'll have another pullback. So actually, you don't want to put your entry exactly on the red circle. You want to put it slightly above. But the tricky thing is, it could actually be a breakout. That's why reading the candles and feeling the market momentum are super important. You don't want to trade against the trend. But don't worry about it now. We'll deep dive into that in the coming videos. The second type of liquidity is trendline liquidity. The trendline is usually where people think that will act as a support or resistance. So there will be a lot of orders there as well. So what will actually happen in reality? Let's go to Bitcoin's chart, the shocking drop that happened recently. So this is the starting point of the most recent drop. We see the 2 green circles in a chart, right? So this trend line is forming. So how would you trade the trend line? You either wait for it to retest the trend line and you short, or you expect a break from the trend and you wait for the retest and you long. And here is the tricky part. Be very careful. A break from the trend line doesn't necessarily mean that it's a break from the trend. So here on the chart, when lower low is showing, we mark a change of character in the graph, which is indicated by the CHOCH. If you're unfamiliar with the term, don't worry. We'll deep dive into that in our later videos as well. This basically means the market trend is shifting. So it's forming a downtrend now. And in order for us to have a break of structure to validate that we're back in an uptrend, we need to have a higher high. But this obviously didn't happen in this chart. But we did see break from a trend line, right? So what's causing this? As I mentioned earlier, how would you trade this trend line? You either wait for it to retest the trend line and you short, or you expect a break from the trend and you wait for the retest and you long. So let's say you expect it to retest and continue the downtrend. Likely you will put your open entry on the trend line, your stop loss to buy back somewhere above. So there will be some buy orders above because a lot of traders that are going through a similar thought process as you do. And for some risky traders, if they're bullish, they probably would start to enter where there is a break of trend line already. And some manual traders would also wait for a break of trend line, then a retest to long. And this forms another pool of buy liquidity. That's why price tends to break through. But be very careful in trading the trend line. Bear in mind that a break from the trend line doesn't necessarily mean that it's a break from the trend. And the third type of liquidity is range liquidity. This often happens when there's a form of consolidation. Previously, we explained that price always reverses at equal highs or equal lows. And this is because there are a lot of orders waiting in that zone. Range liquidity is just the same, but in range. It's very intuitive, so I won't talk too much about it. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. Coming next, I'll also explain what is change of character and break of structure. I'll also walk you through other widely used trading concepts and strategies. Stay tuned, stay Degen.